What's up, guys? Welcome back to Viewer Castles. Today we're going to start off with Dumoria, castle levels of 17. Jump into it on my knight.
Don't worry, treasure chest. Daddy's coming to set you free.
Alright, Zeke, Bone Puppeteer. The Bone Puppeteer seems like he's a little bit too far ahead. He's going to be the first thing to die, basically. And then the Zeke comes right afterwards. I think you have it, like, in the wrong order. You want the Puppeteer as far back as possible, the Zeke the next farthest back, and then the Smelly Archer to come. Because that's kind of the, what you need to protect the most, right? You want to protect the Bone Puppeteer because he's the most fragile. Then you want to protect the Zeke because he's your highest DPS unit there. And then the Smelly Archer comes afterwards. All in all, the group is a little bit hard to use in this room, because this room has a lot of corners where you can kind of duck around and dodge away from arrows. Also, it might be skippable if you go up this way, which wouldn't be all that good. I'm actually not sure which way your castle goes, because this is skippable here. And then, let's see. It seems like there's a lot of skippable groups in this castle so far. And I'm thinking that this entire section of your castle might be skippable. I'm just taking a look to see what I actually have to do here. I'm gonna try to go down this way. I think this might be the actual way that the castle goes. That's kind of bad. I mean, not bad for you. I almost got hit by those eyeballs. These things are a little annoying for knights to deal with, I guess, but they're not that bad. They're not as strong as they used to be. Alright. Yeah, I figured there would be a Doctor Skull pull after this. That's pretty good. It was just long enough to make me attack the Snotters. But without a Defendatron, they're not nearly as difficult to kill. The Doctor Skull, at least. Alright. Here I'm not really sure. The derps don't really serve a purpose. The healer, like, I'm not even sure what specialization the Robo Shieldatron was on. I feel like if anything, he should be bodyguarding the Puppeteer, and then maybe have an Archer or something instead of the derps if you can fit it, or if you can't, like, have another Puppeteer, or have, even take out the Puppeteer and add something else. I mean, it's a time-wasting group, so you can't really rely on anything damage dealing, really. Alright, I do like the archers behind this jelly wall. It kind of makes them a little bit more difficult to see. I mean, I don't know if it's good, but I kind of like it. It's dealing quite a bit of damage to me. I also have to go back through and, like, it's pretty annoying for knights, to be honest, because they start to run away from you. And you have to go around the jelly wall each time, because monsters don't slow inside of the jelly wall, only heroes do. Alright, and then this one, we should have a skippable group, possibly. Another one, at least. Which, I mean, that's the biggest thing that I would say you have to work on at this point, is make it so your groups aren't skippable, because I think I've skipped at least 2 of them at this point. Yeah, I'm already to your boss room, and there's a 3rd that I've skipped. I think I could have skipped 4, which is just way too many. That's 80 points of your castle. Your castle's probably at, like, 255 defense points or something. That's, a third of your castle that I don't have to attack. This boss room's always quite good. Although I think there's a few points. Oh no, there's the other points. I was going to say there's some points lacking, but you have the Smelly Warrior there. I think instead of the Smelly Warrior, something that I saw the other day was a Hunger Bot with Pinstrike. And I thought that was quite good, because it interrupts you trying to attack the Defendatrons, bashes you backwards and make you take more damage. It's pretty good. But yeah, the biggest thing would be to make it so the groups in your castle aren't skippable, so you have to go through everything. Having, like, random wings of your castle that, like, are just fake, they don't really work, because you can just retry the castle over and over. Like, unless there's some thing implemented where you can't just attack people over and over again. Even if I fall for the fake castle and I don't make it to your boss room in time, or to your treasure chest or whatever, I can just retry the castle again and go the correct way, and it makes it a lot easier for me to do it. So yeah, we'll jump into number 2 in just a second. Alright, next up we have XxmightyXx. Castle level is a 16, so I'll jump into it on my knight, run through it pretty quickly, and see what he's got. Alright, pull through the wall, we have a Cyclops, Archer, and Smelly, or Archer and Bone Puppeteer. The first thing that I would say is, like, your Cyclopses come too quickly. Everything else is just not really here. I kill both of them and then I have to deal with the rest. So, I mean, you need to work on the timing of all of your creatures arriving at the same time. That's the biggest problem with that group specifically, because I can kill both of the Cyclopses before the Archer and the Puppeteer show up. Other than that, I think it's fine. As I've kind of said about Stairmasters, I don't think this specialization is good until you get up to level 28. I think the teleport one is just better. It doesn't do enough damage at these low levels to really make it worthwhile. If you're going to use Stairmasters, I think teleport's the way to go. Even at the high levels now, but even before the patch, I think that teleport was better at those levels. Alright, I do like the spread out archers. It makes them a little bit less vulnerable to volley. Harder for knights to track down. The room does have a couple corners where you can kind of, you know, kite around the corner and then make them all group up like I did there. But it's still a decent idea. Alright, then we've got a Cyclops. He's a little out in the open. Let's see what's with him. And just a Stairmaster. Yeah, this group, I mean, obviously it's not a full group, so you must have just had a couple extra points that you threw in here. But it's not really going to do much either way. I think it would do better with a teleportation Stairmaster because it's more of a projectile. With this one, you know, you can have these guys throw their ominous orb on the ground, and you could have the Cyclops push you out of it. It's not really going to synergize well. Whereas the projectiles, it'll help them hit a little bit better when you're stunned. But, I mean, the Cyclops doesn't stun for nearly as long as he used to. So it's not that big of a deal. Alright. Alright, this group is fine. The only problem is it's a little bit too far down the hallway. If there's any way you can move it back a little bit farther into this area, it'll help, you know, the Cyclops have a little bit more room to charge and the projectiles to work a little bit better. Because as it is right now, I can just kind of run around this corner, as you saw I did there, and everything just kind of misses me. Although I do like this room, how you have it set up here, because you can't really see these Cyclops unless you rotate. Until you're pretty much already in the room. Alright, and then Hungerbot. I don't know what's with this, but it doesn't seem like a full group either. So I think the two groups, I mean, this is what, 8, 10 points? And then you had 11 points earlier in a group. I think you should merge the two groups that aren't full into a full group, because it's just going to be more effective that way. I do like this one, but I think that the Scorpio should always be on Pinstrike if you're going to use it with Zeeks. It just makes it just synergizes so much better with the stun rather than the hook. But yeah, not too bad of a castle. I think the Stairmaster thing is the biggest deal, and then a little bit of the placements like I was talking about earlier. But yeah, we'll jump into number 3 in just a second. Alright, and lastly we have Tryout. Castle level is a 25. I'll jump into it on my Archer. Alright, so these are the... Never mind, they're the heavy-handed, I think, Jimbos. I was going to say they were the Resurrect ones, but that's not right. This is okay. The Dr. Skull is a little weird with two Smelly Warriors. Usually you use smaller mobs to be able to, you know, force him to resurrect, although he might have been on something different. I killed him before I saw his specialization. But I would at least take out one of the Smelly Warriors for something else. Whether it be a, you know, Hunger Bot or something like that. Just some other form of crowd control. Battering Ram would be okay. Anything like that. But I think two Smelly Warriors kind of just work against each other, almost. Alright, Pete Poundmore, what's with him? A Squidly? I like Pete Poundmore and Bone Puppeteers, like, way better. I don't think Squidlies are all that great. My personal opinion, yes, they have high DPS, but they don't ever survive through a volley, and they don't really ever get close enough to actually deal their damage, at least not against an archer. Against a knight, sometimes they will, but again, they don't really... they die too quickly to really make use of their high DPS. And if you are going to use multiple ones, you want to spread them out so that they don't all fit in one volley, if you can. Alright, IMAX on teleport. I think that's fine. I don't know exactly how much damage they do. Usually you see IMAXs on Ominous Orb, but I think teleport should be okay. It should do reasonable amounts of damage. Alright, this group is fine. Again, the Squidly, I mean, I'm not a fan of like the extra Squidlies and Derps. I think those don't really add anything, or the same as like the Snotter here. I think you could remove 4 points out of this, out of the 5 that you have here, the 2 Derps, Squidly, and Snotter. Remove 4 of it and add in something else, either a Dampener or a Hunger Bot or even a Smelly Warrior. Anything else would be better. Because almost every unit under 2 points never really survives long enough to do their damage. Like, they'll all just die to whatever AoE is there. Whether it be a Knight's auto attack, or a volley, or, you know, Frost Bolts, or whatever the person's using for their AoE, they'll almost always die to it. The 4-point mobs have at least a chance to survive through their AoEs, and do at least 1 attack or 2 attacks worth of damage. And there's something that you have to worry about, right? I don't want to get hooked by that Hunger Bot, because that loses control of my hero. I want to have control of my hero the entire time. Same as if you had like a Pinstrike Hunger Bot or a Battering Ram charging at you, or anything like that. You have to worry about these. It's like another thing that's just going on the screen that the attacker has to worry about. And when they, you know, get distracted or something, maybe they stand in this fire and take a little bit more trap damage. Alright, and then for the boss room, so many puppeteers. I'm wondering exactly what specialization they're on. They're all on heal. I feel like that's a little excessive. I don't think you need... it's like 9 points of healing for a 20-point group. That's crazy high. I think at least one of them should go away. Possibly 2 of them. The Stairmaster is fine. The Hunger Bot I think is okay. Although I do like Hunger Bots on Pinstrike a little bit better in most circumstances. And I think Count Nottingham is one of the best bosses, so that's good. Although generally I use a Defendatron on him, I think it's okay with what you have here. With a Dr. Skull it looked like. I think that's alright. Yeah, not too bad of a castle. I think just a couple changes to some of your mobs might be good. Like, you know, what I said earlier, some of the space control things, like the trash mobs that you have, if you change those out for some of the 4-point mobs that, you know, you actually have to think about and worry about as you're attacking them on the screen, that can add up to a little bit more damage on the hero. Because they'll take some trap damage, or they'll get hit by that 4-point mob and take extra damage that way. But yeah, this is number 3, so we'll end the video here. As always, if you enjoy what I do, please subscribe. If you want to be a part of Eurocast, you can email me at frenzycastleruns@hotmail.com. There's a link in the description, and there's a link in the description to a spreadsheet where you can see kind of when I'm going to run your castle. The list is... Let's see, I have 5 more of these videos to run right now. So I'll have to start catching up. Maybe I'll do a day sometime next week where I release 2 of these videos or something just to catch up a little bit. But, I mean, the wait times are generally like 1 week, so shouldn't be too long. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.